I would get into one of the prominent Nunchora, as you say, Netter, Nunchora, and the ancient spirituality and cosmology. And as many people have been arguing lately, I know it's been happening over time, but it seems like for some reason lately there have been vehement statements and comments toward Bakuma being some other group of people other than BaNtu or other than BaNtu-Kongo. We're trying to show that before the influx of any other people to the land, our people were all one and they practiced basically the same forms of cosmology and spirituality. Because there are specific elements in our spiritualities that are not found to the T, to the mark, to the detail in other groups and locations of people throughout Earth Mother. And that shows you something. There are bits and pieces possibly because of diaspora and because of, influx and, basically adopting certain elements due to conquest and whatnot. But you can tell where the roots are. So this is very important. And this is another reason why I chose this next word. Now, this next word we'll get into is the intruder that you call Khnum, or you call Khnum. And this is extremely important. Budge, if you cautiously again turn to pages 578 and 579 in his dictionary, you will see that Budge has several different spellings in the picture carvings in the Madura Nchora of the word of the great Nchora. But there's one specific spelling that I chose because it is the most important spelling of his name. It shows the information that Budge did not know. And it is what relates him, his name, his purpose, his power to all other BaNtu peoples of Kongo, without a shadow of a doubt, and I'll show you. So now let's go into it. We have the symbols. If you look at the one specific, we have the symbols of the jar or the jug. We have, again, the chick. We have the owl. And we have the Nchora. We have the Congo who is sitting down in his ritual stance. The lettering of what you call Khnum, originally it would be KHNM, as you know how to pronounce him. But this particular spelling is spelled KHNWM. And that's why I chose this one, because that W is extremely important, and I will get to why in a few seconds. And this is also where you get the pronunciation Khnum. It is also incorrect, but it's closer to what we're going to get into. Now, before I jump into the deagglutination and the explanation of the word, I will give you an excerpt from Baba John Mbiti in his book, African Religions and Philosophy, specifically pages 50 and 51 here. And I'm going to read this because he goes into the roots of the commonality of all of Kongo's spiritual traditions and cosmologies. He says on pages 50 and 51 that over the whole of Africa, creation is the most widely acknowledged work of God. This concept is expressed through saying that God created all things, giving him name of creator, molder, or maker. Remember that. And so he says the Akan title given to God means excavator, hewer, carver, creator, originator, inventor, architect. The universe is described as having its architectural form from God, and God first molds and makes. Then he gives shape, adds distinctiveness and character, and he says the metaphor of the potter is commonly used to describe God's creativity. God shapes children in the mother's womb. The Banyarwanda women are careful to leave water ready before they go to bed, so God may use it to create children. So, why do I say that this passage is extremely important? Well, if we look at it, what he's saying is that specific word potter is what most of us know the word kanim or khnum to mean. But why does it mean that? Now, there are several spellings, as I said, and there's actually several spellings over the span of 2 pages to mean different things. Now, something that was key into what he said about the women, the Banyarwanda women, they actually leave the water on the side of the bed. Now, if you look at a spelling of the pot, the owl, the phonetic T, which is the sun rising, which looks like the half circle, and the symbols of water. If you look at that, it is referring to the custom of using water for creation. And then we look at the definition and it says spring, a well, a fountain, or the western well of Egypt. And that is on Budge, page 579. And now also on page 579, you see a definition that says the upper pool and asterisk, site unknown. Okay. And it is the jug, the phonetic T, which is the sun rising, the symbols of the water. Then you see the head, the symbol for R, which some say is the mouth. And then you see the chick. And then you see the representation of the land. So let's go ahead and get into what we're saying here. Now, before I jump into the full meaning of who you know as Knem or Khnum, I will state a BaNtu rule in the E.O. Ashton Book of Swahili Grammar, page 85. This rule says that the letter combination N, as in nothing, and W, they equal the letter combination of M, as money, or Muntu, better say it, and B, for Bantu. So NW equals MB. This is the reason why I said that I chose this specific spelling and why it's so important and what Budge did not understand. So I say this is important because the symbol of the pot or the jug, it is actually said to represent the letters KHN. But if we look at Knem, there's no W, there's no chick. But with the W, with the chick added, then we look at this rule and it will make sense. And that letter combination will be KHNWM. And with that M, B sound equaling the NW sound, we can get into defragmenting the word. So, as previously discussed in the first portion of the lesson, we have the words ku, which is a prefix KU, and then we have the word ku, okay, ku, KUU. And Shivenda, the combination KHA pronounced ka, means to chop, hack, or basically it represents a carving action. Now, what's important is that this Shivenda word ka is also locative, representing a location. So even though ku with the KUU meaning great could work here, I'm going to opt to use ka and ku. Ku being Kiswahili and ka being Shivenda, because both of them are talking about locations.